I'm Jen, and it's been a hot second. So I am doing some last minute prep for NaNoWriMo since I'm actually going to be involved with that this year. I'm going to be revising my current work in progress, which is Forged Bliss. It's a YA dystopian novel that I'm really looking forward to working on revising. So I'm one of those Nano rebels because, of course, you know me as a rebel. But in the process of preparing, I was trying to decide how to build my perfect author space and what all that would entail. Because normally I have, my Dr. Pepper with me or something like that. But I really wanted to have a fully immersive experience and really set myself up to work really well on this NaNoWriMo. And I realized that the same way to build an author space is the same way you do world building, and that's you have to get involved with all 5 senses. So here's my rundown of my 5 senses and how you can use those to set up your author space and use them in world building. Number 1 is taste. So this can be something that you're snacking on or what you're drinking. That's always a good thing to have when you're writing. You need some kind of drink, you need some kind of fuel. So make sure you have that on your space. Like I said, I typically go with Dr. Pepper. Since we're coming into the fall, I'm probably going to be diving into my hot cocoa because that's just me and I do hot cocoa, but just having something to snack on. And you can use that as part of your world building. What kind of foods do they have in your world? Is it a contemporary setting? So maybe you're in a coffee shop and so you have pastries and you have coffee and that sort of thing. Or if you have a fantasy, what kind of taste palette is involved? What kind of seasonings do they use? What's their special thing? Like Belgium has their waffles and French has the pastries and everybody's got their thing. So what is your world's thing? Next we have here. So you can build yourself a playlist and get songs that immerse you in your world, or find instrumental tracks if you don't like listening to specific words. For me, I can't listen to really any kind of music, so I use something like the Noisely app, which is an app that can kind of let you make ambient sounds and mix them together. There's also ambient sound channels on YouTube that you can listen to. So finding one that sounds like what your world sounds like at the time. Like in my story, a big setting is the forest that is surrounding the city. So having those forest sounds, the crickets chirping and, the sticks and leaves and that sort of thing, that's perfect for my setting. What are your characters hearing in their world? What kind of space, if you were to just stand in the world of your story and close your eyes, what would you be hearing? That's a great way to get a reader fully immersed in your world. Next we have smell, and this is probably my favorite. If you watched my channel before, you probably have already seen my scent playlist concept, which I'll link in the cards or down below or wherever the links go. But it's basically the way that I kind of focus in on my story is I attach it to a smell. What do I smell in this world? So I had picked my scent playlist before, but then I've gotten some new candles and things since then, and it's kind of changed a bit. So I have 2 playlists, as it were, because I wanted to be able to change it up. So I'm actually one of the holiday reps for Highland Bluff Studio, and they have these amazing candles and room sprays and scented oils and wax melts and things, and they're just the best scents ever, just hands down. I'm super picky about my scented candles, and these have always been wonderful. So my 2 playlists, one was I wanted to have that kind of coffee shop feel. There's something quintessential about writing in a coffee shop, but a lot of times I can't go out to a coffee shop to do that. When I want that sort of feel, I'm going to be using the Time Well Spent wax melts, which is scented coffee and blueberry muffin, and I used that today for the first time with my little cute little wax melt thing, which if you haven't seen it, go look on my Instagram. It's a little fox wax melt, and it's the cutest thing. I'm obsessed with it. But I just tried this today while I was on a webinar, and it made the whole house smell so good, and I felt like I was right there in the middle of a coffee shop, and just it got my brain just buzzing. It was wonderful. I loved it. But then as far as my scent playlist for the story, there's 2 main settings that I have in my story, and so I was trying to get a scent that would kind of firmly root me in each place rather than attaching it to necessarily like a character or anything like that. The 2 scents that I'm using for that are the Sci-Fi candle and the House Bravery candle. So House Bravery is crackling firewood and blackberries. So this one is going to be perfect for my forest setting. And the other one is in the city where Zora, which is my main character, spends most of her time. So I'm using Sci-Fi for that, and that one is patchouli, moss, and fresh air. And it's one of those scents that's so hard to describe, but it's perfect for that city setting. So I'm gonna be going back and forth, and when I'm working on city settings, I'm gonna be burning this candle, and when I'm in the forest, we'll be here with the House Bravery. So that's a way that you can really firm yourself into your world by bringing those into your author space. All right, number 4 is touch. For touch, you want to be as comfortable as possible when you're writing, because there's nothing worse than sitting down to write and then all of a sudden you're uncomfortable and it's giving you every reason to stop writing. That's not going to work. You need to make sure your chair is getting comfortable. You need to make sure that the room temperature is comfortable, or if there's fluctuating things, like for me, I'm just always cold. It doesn't matter how warm the house is, I'm always cold. So I usually have a nice little fuzzy jacket that I wear when I'm writing. And if I'm like really into a deep mood, I pull the hood up, so I can be in my little cave. But also having like little totems on your desk. Like for me, the main character actually uses knives as her weapon of choice. And so I have some knives here on the desk so that I can just kind of feel the weight and feel like what she would be feeling when she's holding that knife, when she's sitting there and like ready to attack. What is she gonna be feeling? So that's another thing that you can have. Just have some little like things around you that you can feel and touch that can really get you sucked into what you're working on. And lastly, we have sight. So this can be a myriad of things. For me, I'm actually posting all around my computer screen. I'm posting these little dollifies that I made of each of my characters, so that their faces are always going to be looking back at me when I'm looking at my story. That's just one of a visual that really, really sets me in the world, is when I can look back at the characters that I'm writing about, because then they don't feel like these abstract things in my mind. It also helps when I'm trying to remember, like, wait a second, was it this person that had green eyes, or was it this person that had green eyes? So it can help square those up real fast. But you can have all sorts of things. Have a background on your laptop that is reminiscent of your setting, or make an aesthetic board. I know some people who do amazing aesthetic boards, and it's just wonderful to look at. And why not put that as the background on your phone and on your laptop, so that when you're working on your project, you're going to be fully immersed in the world. Another good thing that's not necessarily world building, but for you is probably a good idea as the writer, having this in your writing space, is having some sort of like inspirational quote, or maybe some authors who really inspire you, and post them around your workspace, so that if you're in the nano trenches and you're really trying so hard to just get to that 50,000 word mark, that you'll see, hey, here are people who have gone before me, who have done the thing that I want to do, or here are some quotes to keep me going. Because sometimes it's coming. Usually it's around day 10 and around day 20 that it just feels like every single word is an uphill battle. So I don't want that for you. Get some quotes, put those up on the space around you. I'll just use like some hand lettering or something, or I'll find quotes online and I can print them off and I'll just put them around my space, so that when I'm just so sick of it and I want to quit, I can look at those and be refreshed and remind myself why I'm doing this. So that's all I got for you today. Let me know down in the comments if you have any must-haves for your writer's space. I'd love to hear about them. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and ding that bell so you'll never miss an upload. And I will see you all next time. Bye.